With us now, Congressman Dave Mint, Democrat from California, Southern California. Congressman, thanks for being here. Unlike Texas, California has a redistricting commission that handles drawing congressional maps. And the way they drew the districts in 2021 was to, quote, keep communities of interest together. Your district, for example, got a significant makeover. Look and see here. There it is. And it went from a safely blue seat to a much lighter shade of blue. But this new map Governor Newsom is touting has a very different goal and would reportedly shift your district back, giving you a little more breathing room in the midterms. All that being said, what do you make of the governor's plan?
Look, I think, as I understand it, the governor's plan has a few major differences from the plans being contemplated in Texas, Florida, and Ohio right now, where the governors there are just adopting the maps that the White House is giving them. The first difference is that the California map is fully compliant with the Voting Rights Act, and it does keep communities of interest together. That's what I'm told very dispositively. Second, it would be contingent and would only take effect if other states like Texas or Florida or Ohio first did this unprecedented gerrymandering in the middle of a decade. And third, the voters will have to vote on it. Now, one thing I would just note is that in Texas and Florida and Ohio, they already have partisan gerrymandering. So they already went through this exercise in 2020 with the goal of getting as many Republican seats as possible while complying with the VRA. The maps they're drawing right now are not compliant with the VRA. While the California map, as I understand it, is. So big differences here. And look, I believe in following the rules. I'm a rule follower at the end of the day. We should try to win elections under the rules we have. But when the other side is cheating over and over and over, I think Democrats need to stop bringing a butter knife to a gunfight. We need to fight fire with fire and not unilaterally disarm. And I think that's the principle of this particular redistricting that's being considered in California.
And when you and I have talked before, you've made it clear, you represent Democrats and Republicans. You represent human constituents. If this,
that's right.
The most extreme version of the maps under consideration in California were to go into effect, there'd only be 3 Republicans out of 52 seats in California. That's a pretty wild number. What do you say to the Republicans in Southern California who would be squeezed so far out? They didn't gerrymander Texas.
In Texas, I think they did gerrymander, and they're going to gerrymander so extreme you're going to have these weird-looking districts. You're not going to see that in California. California is a bright blue state, and I just want to note something that Representative Van Orden said, the hypocrisy and contradiction of what he said, because he earlier said that we're on Team Republican. You have to vote for everything Donald Trump says. And then later he said you represent Republicans and Democrats. I take a different approach to governing. I sometimes vote against my party. I sometimes vote for my party. That's the difference right now. Republicans are single-issue voters in Congress. The only issue they care about is, are you voting with Trump or not? That's why we have such dysfunction. It's why we're in a constitutional crisis right now, because they keep rubber stamping stuff. And right now you have DeSantis, you have Abbott. These folks are, again, rubber stamping things that should not be allowed. And that's what this is about. California, as I understand it, the proposal only goes into effect if Texas or Florida or Ohio do it first.
Okay, you're going to get to do something about all this stuff because while you are enjoying the mild climate of your district right now, there's more than humidity waiting for you back in Washington. There's the looming threat of a government shutdown and how your party is going to approach the fight over government funding. We've seen the Republicans defy expectations again and again when it comes to spending bills, but there is still a very good possibility that they're going to need your help to avoid the shutdown. Are you willing to help avoid the government shutdown, or are you going to demand concessions in return?
Look, I have been in Congress for just about 7 months. It's been the longest 7 months of my life. But what I'll say is this. In my time in Congress, I've noticed one recurring theme. Republicans vote with Trump. So I'd be very surprised if at the end of the day they don't again follow that pattern. I've never been asked to vote for Republican bills. They've never lobbied me. They've never tried to make the case that this is good for my district. And what we've seen is terrible policies emerge. That's why they're trying to do this partisan gerrymandering in Texas and Florida right now, because their policies are so unpopular. They're so cruel and immoral and devastating to communities like ours. The cuts to Medicaid, the cuts to food aid, for the tax on higher education in the cuts to cancer research. Who would vote for these things? Also, we can give bigger tax giveaways to foreign billionaires. It doesn't make any sense. So they have not tried to make the case to us ever that these rescissions packages or these big ugly bills are good for our districts. If they make that case to us, if I get a call from Donald Trump or his chief of staff, I'll certainly take that phone call. But again, they've not actually tried to reach out. So when you talk about bipartisanship, it has to work both ways. So far, we've not seen that from the Republicans who are in control right now.
Okay, speaking of your district, it is shaping up to be a test case for immigration enforcement as local groups have sued over what they say is an indiscriminate enforcement by ICE officials and the harassment of people who appear to be Hispanic. Courts maybe will be receptive to this argument. California has long called its status as a sanctuary state a virtue, but as we saw in 2024, and you alluded to, voters wanted more immigration enforcement and more law and order. This seems, though, like it's turned into a binary choice where there's either too much indiscriminate enforcement or not enough public safety and public order. Where are you on the lawsuits, on this question generally?
Sure, and I just want to first address the term sanctuary state, because I hate that term. I think it's very misleading. As I noted in an oversight committee hearing recently, and every single mayor agreed with this, there's not a single place in America, including in California, that does not comply with federal immigration law, that hampers federal immigration enforcement. What the question around quote-unquote sanctuary is whether state and local resources, doctors, nurses, police officers, should be allowed to be conscripted to serve federal immigration purposes. In California, we made the decision that cops should be doing their jobs. They should be focused on crime and law and order and keeping us safe, that nurses should be focused on their jobs and not on ICE's priorities. But look, as far as what we're seeing right now, it's outrageous. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. You see masked agents jumping out of unmarked vans, attacking and assaulting people in the middle of the street, including citizens and permanent residents. They're sweeping people up without warrants. When people ask them for warrants or film them, you have agents that have been documented pulling guns on those people, arresting those people. This is all out of control, and I want to compare this to local law enforcement. My police officers here in Orange County, excellent police departments we have here, they don't wear masks. They wear body cameras. They identify themselves. If they're ever accused of violating someone's civil rights or breaking the law, there are investigations that occur. None of this happens with ICE. And so I recently visited ICE, and I got a whole runaround on this. Incredibly, at one point, they claimed that there were no complaints filed against ICE agents in Orange County. And when I noted that I knew of several complaints that had been filed, they said, oh, that's a different office. This was the type of runaround we're getting. It's the contempt for the rule of law and oversight that's coming out of ICE right now. And so, sure, we need to secure our borders. We should be going after violent criminals and gang members like Donald Trump said he would. But what's happening right now, these warrantless raids that are terrorizing communities, out of control, illegal, and we need to have some kind of oversight of this.
Okay, Congressman, we're going to have to leave it there. And America, if you were going to check out one more night the Phil Collins cover band experience at the OC Fair in Costa Mesa this evening, you would know him already. But if you don't, there he is, Congressman Dave Min. We thank you.